Welcome to the Lost Boyz Podcast.
Episode number 12. Look at that.
Yep.
Remember this time.
Who would have thunk it?
Not me. Not me.
Nah. We have a good one for you guys today. Today we're talking about dedication versus motivation. I feel like every episode that we start talking, I'm like, I feel like there's a misconception around this.
I mean, that's why we're talking about
True.
it. We're saying you gotta fix that.
Oh, this is so staying in there. Oh shit.
You gotta probably. Okay, no, it's good now.
Oh man, that's hilarious. I wish I could have just taken the camera and shown you guys what we just saw.
But
Episode 12, baby.
yeah. But no, there definitely is like misconceptions, at least to our knowledge. Not knowledge, our like opinions, because for the most part we do talk about opinionated things for the most part. But yeah, dedication versus motivation. I think there's a clear difference in the two. Well, I shouldn't say clear difference, but there's definitely a difference in the two. I think they kind of get misconstrued.
Yeah, definitely. And the funny thing is, I didn't even. I was like, yeah, bro, this motherfucker's spitting right now. But no, definitely. Like, I think there's a certain narrative around, let's say, the gym or chasing your goals or becoming Elon Musk or anything like that.
Yeah.
Where there's a certain ideology about, I'm motivated to do this, when in reality, motivation isn't what gets you there. You gotta be dedicated.
Yeah. No, definitely. It's got to become a lifestyle. Like I've noticed and I've heard a lot of people say like, oh, I'm just not motivated right now. Or like, oh, I was doing it, but then I lost motivation. It's like, well, I guess you didn't want it then. Because like if you actually want it, you become dedicated to the idea of the success of it. Like motivation, for me personally, like I think it's just the truth. Motivation is just an emotion. Like it comes and goes. It's a fling. That's why one day you wake up and you're like, I'm ready to kill today. Like I'm gonna start going to the gym this week. Here's a perfect example. New Year's resolutions.
Oh my God.
Everyone is motivated. New year, new me, baby. Let's get it.
Yep.
At the end of January, okay, I got 1 month through. All right, I like this. I'm dedicated. And then month 2 comes, end of February. And you never go to the gym again. No, you don't follow through on any of your goals anymore. You just next year.
Yeah.
Like that's a clear indication of like you were motivated, and then when it came time to become dedicated, you were not dedicated. You weren't willing to put the work in.
It's true. Like first and foremost, if you set a New Year's resolution and you know what, let's say it's the middle of December, you're like, all right, my New Year's resolution this year is to get into the gym. You already failed. Because if you really, really want to fix your body, get into the gym, whatever it may be, you're not going to wait for something to be an excuse to do it. You're just going to fucking do it.
Do it, exactly. No, 100%. I personally don't make any New Year's resolutions. Because, I don't know, I think it's like, how do I put this? It's not like it's a bad thing. But it's like, if you're making a New Year's resolution, then you're like kind of waiting for an excuse to do something. Versus just, like you said, just doing it.
Yep.
Like, if I'm broke and I'm complaining about being broke, I'm not going to wait till fucking January to be like, all right, I'm not going to be broke this year, guys.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm going to do something about it right now. Like, I'll go get another job. I'll hustle. I'll find a side hustle. I'll find something. Or I'll at least try to get a new job that's going to pay me better. And then maybe it's not working out in the moment, but I'm trying something.
Yeah.
I'm at least putting forth the effort instead of being like, next year, new year, new me.
Steady progress.
Yeah.
New year, new me. That's fucking cap.
Yeah, nah. New year seeing you because you've done absolutely nothing different.
Dead ass.
But yeah, again, I think there's a big difference between dedication and motivation. For me, motivation is just an emotion. It's something that comes and goes. It happens in the spur of a moment, and it could last a decently long time for some. Sometimes it's shorter, sometimes average. But motivation is not going to get you through a full year of hard work and going after the things you want, especially when you don't see the instant gratification.
It's true.
And when you don't get the results you want right away. That's when dedication really plays a role. Like, all right, I don't feel like doing this today, but this is what I want, so I'm going to do it either way.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I really don't want to, and I can think of a million excuses as to why I shouldn't, I'm still going to do it either way. That's, to me, being dedicated and truly wanting what you're trying to get.
Oh, no. Being willing to do what you have to do when you don't want to or when it's inconvenient to. If you're trying to lose weight, right? I feel like we always come back to the gym. But, like, if you're trying to lose weight, yeah, it might be so easy to, you know, take that day off or to just, you know, eat that snack. Like, you might want to. Like, no, not even you might. You want to. Like, you just... Mm-hmm. It's so easy to do that. But to stay diligent and just be like, nah, I'm not going to eat that. I'm going to get my ass to the gym today. That takes discipline. That takes a different level of character to be able to stick to, as opposed to just being able to be like, you know what? I ate good for 2 weeks. I can snack now.
Yeah.
It's not how it goes.
Not at all. And, well, I could get deeper into it, but then we go way off into the fitness aspect of it, which I won't do. But I could shit on all over you guys' ideas of health and nutrition. But, yeah. I think there's a difference between, like, saying, oh, I want something, and saying, oh, I like the idea of this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, it's good to act off motivation, right? It gets you going. But once you stop after the motivation ends, then it's not so, you didn't want it then. You just like the idea of it. Like, I could be like, oh, I want to go get a 6-pack. And then I work on my core for 2 weeks and then I'm like, oh, I don't want to do core today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well then you don't want a 6-pack. You just like the idea of having a 6-pack. Or you could be like, damn, I want a 6-pack. And then for the next 3 months, you destroy your fucking core. Even when you come home after work and all the millions of excuses you could think of. I had a bad day. I had to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
My car broke down. This, that. I don't want to do nothing. Commercial while watching TV. All right, fine. I'm going to just do core real quick.
Yep.
Next commercial, I'm going to do core again. Until you can't do fucking core no more. Because the shit's just fatigue. That's dedication. That's actually wanting something. That when you say, like, at that point, then you could say, yeah, I want a 6-pack. Because you're actually doing the work to get the 6-pack. Versus saying, like, oh, I want a 6-pack. And then you're half-assing it. It's like, no, I just like the idea of a 6-pack. Change your vocabulary up. Know the difference.
And with dedication as opposed to motivation, you also got to keep in mind, that's why I wrote it down there. Motivation is like a setup for failure. If it's just motivation that you want, like, if it's just motivation that you have on your side, it's a setup for failure. Because exactly that, you have to stay consistent with it. And part of that is you're not going to see results right away with anything.
Yeah.
Nothing is a one-to-one transaction. It's the repetition. It's the constant working on it and sticking to it that's going to get you maybe your first cuts or lowering your body fat percentage. You have to stick with it. If you don't have the drive to stick with it, you will lose interest in it. Naturally, because we all need something to keep us in whatever it is we're chasing.
Yeah.
That's why in the Power of Habit, it even says this, where it's better to set a goal that is actually tangible in the sense of, like, that's it. In the book, they use the example of somebody that wants to lose weight. Rather than just losing weight being the goal, setting a goal of, like, I want to run a marathon. Because that's something directly tangible that you can one-to-one do. That will take you further than just, I just want to lose weight. You have to be dedicated to that tangible goal.
Yeah, and there's a book, I'm not reading, I'm listening to it. It's called Atomic Habits. Just check it out. It's also a dope book. They actually, like, they talk about how, like, the Power of Habits kind of, like, similar to it in a sense, in certain aspects.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, like, it's basically saying, cool, motivation is cool. But if you have goals and you have things you want to accomplish and you need to become dedicated and disciplined too, like, you almost have to make it your personality in a sense. Like, so basically, like, an example is, I want a 6-pack, right? Let's go back to that because I already used that. I have to start carrying myself as somebody who has a 6-pack
mm-hmm.
and is trying to keep a 6-pack. Like, oh, I got my 6-pack. I'm trying to keep this. So, like, you got to keep working at it because If you stop working out your abs, they'll go away. Anything you stop using it, you lose it. So it's like you kind of make that your personality. So you're acting like as if you're that person already. So like, let's say you want to be, before you go to sleep, you dream of yourself as like this multimillionaire. You have all these nice cars, this family, the lifestyle you're living, flying private jets, everything. You envision that, but also envision the kind of day-to-day life that you have and make that become your personality. Like, okay, in order for me to keep this lifestyle, this is actually what I've been doing to have that. How I've been waking up at this time every day. I've been making sure this is done at this time, this is done by then, this is done by then. And you start living as if you're already that person. That's going to create the habits and the discipline and the dedication to then achieve those goals. It's like like another example is Joe Rogan. He mentioned one time, like if you want to start to get to where you are and like really like be in tune to what you're doing every day and not wasting time, imagine that there's a documentary crew following you everywhere you go.
Yeah.
And watch how different you act. When knowing if you know there's people with cameras following you every second of every single day, you're gonna find something to do that's I just forgot the word. But like that's gonna make you progress. You know, like you're not just gonna go sit on your phone for 3 hours scrolling on TikTok, and there's people recording you doing that because you know like everyone's gonna see how much of like lazy or like how much time you're wasting and everything. You don't want to come off as that person, so you're gonna find anything and everything to do to become productive. That was the word I was thinking of. But yeah, that was my little rant.
Nah, I freaking love that example, like what Joe Rogan said, because it's true. It's like imagining a sense of pressure on you.
Yeah.
And we depend on pressure, even though everybody thinks of pressure as like stress and everything like that. But you don't succeed when you want something. You succeed when you need something.
Exactly.
That's why we're so successful at getting food or just in general. Because when you need something, you don't think about, oh, if I'm hungry, I'm not going to think about, oh, you know what? I'm going to wait 2 days to eat. Nah, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go fucking eat.
Yeah.
Same thing with, let's say you want to be in the NBA. You're not going to think about, oh, you know, I'm going to go work out or I'm going to go train on Thursday. Nah, oh, I have an extra hour. Let me go put up some shots. Something like that. You force yourself, you make it your personality, like you said, to be productive.
Exactly. You make your goal. Envision yourself as the person that's achieved the goal. And think about what that person does day to day that's achieved that goal. And now start acting like that now. Because if that's how you're going to act when you get the goal, then that's how you should be acting now to get to the goal.
See, and something that I can even say, like, I'm guilty of too, is where it's like, you envision that millionaire Brandon, right? And it's like, all right, what does he do? Bam, 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 bam. I feel like there's an error where you think, all right, once I get the money, right, let's say, then I'll act this way. When in reality, it's act this way, become this way, then you get the money. Or
that's what's going to get you to that
to
money. Yeah, exactly. You shouldn't need to change once you have it. You should have already been it by the time you got it.
That's why, I don't know how many people can relate to this, but I've had conversations with, like, you know, my parents and things like that, where it's like, they'll see somebody who's like rich, right? Remember, I think it was Mark Cuban that we were talking about. And it was like, oh, well, once I got to that certain point, I would just stop working, right? Where it's like, well, then if that's your mentality, then you'll never get to that point. Because look at Elon Musk or Mark Cuban or any of these billionaires where it's like, they're not working for a goal. Working is just who they are.
Exactly. They've made it their personality.
Yep. Like, Elon Musk literally goes business to business to business because his personality is problem solving. And in that problem solving, he got the reward of money. And it's not just this case it works with. It's in general with anything. If the gym becomes your personality, your body's going to reflect that. What's a different example? If your personality is public speaking, you're going to be very energetic. You're going to naturally be very charismatic. It's what you base your personality and your habits around is who you are. Like, you might think like a millionaire, but have the habits of some bum. Like,
exactly.
Realistically speaking.
Yeah.
Are you sleeping in every day? Are you taking days off? Are you not learning? Are you not reading? Are you not practicing or training or anything like that? These are like questions you got to be real with yourself to see like, yo, do I just like the idea or am I actually chasing it?
Yeah. Do you want it or do you just like to think about it?
Yeah.
There's a big difference in the two. One requires action and action for a period of time. The other just requires just a thought process.
Mm-hmm.
Burning a couple calories with your brain. But what were you going to say?
Random fact. It's completely random. But what you just said reminded me. Did you know there's a membrane in the brain that controls what goes in and out of the brain, like which chemicals, like sodium and all that shit? And that little membrane uses 10% of all the body's energy at any given moment.
Did not know that.
Yeah, I recently learned that and I was like, wow, that was such a poor design.
I recently learned the brain fact though. It was saying that 20% of the brain's energy that's used is equivalent to the quad of somebody running a marathon.
Jesus.
They use the same amount of energy. It's 20% of your brain's functionality is like running a marathon and like for your quad.
That's
crazy. That's like not even full potential. It's like almost a quarter of your brain's potential.
Just think about it. The brain is like the engine of the car.
Literally. The heart is important, but the heart doesn't beat if the brain doesn't tell it to beat.
The heart's like the motor.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm tying this all to cars, but
there you go. Fuck it. If it works, it works. But no, yeah. I think a very important attribute between dedication versus motivation though is discipline. That's I think the determining factor into dedication. Like, are you disciplined enough? Like, okay, I know we keep using fitness, but okay, you want to lose weight. And you've been good for the last 8 weeks. You haven't broke your diet, not once. And somebody puts a fat, juicy looking cupcake right in front of your face. And you look at it. Discipline is wanting to eat it and not eating it.
Mm-hmm.
That's discipline. Or discipline could also be like, you've had a busy day, whatever, you have plans. You didn't put your work in that you needed to put in, that you had scheduled. All right. Sorry, I'm going to sit this one out. I got to get this done.
Mm-hmm.
That's discipline. It's not that you can't have enjoyable moments and that at some point you can't enjoy the cupcake or something, but it's understanding that you need to make a sacrifice for the long term. And it doesn't mean, like, for example, going out, right? Let's say I made plans, I want to go out tonight or whatever, but I needed to record the podcast. And if I didn't record the podcast, then we don't have an episode for this week. Discipline is being like, okay, you know what, fuck it, I'll go out another time, I'm gonna record the podcast. Whereas not being disciplined would just be like, oh, fuck it, I'll find time for the podcast, and then next thing you know, we miss a week. That's the difference.
I don't remember who said it, but it's similar along the lines of what you said, where it's like your progress and your success is on the same scale as your sacrifices, where there is no way around. If you want to make progress and you want to be successful in any realm of life, there is equal sacrifices that you must make.
Mm-hmm.
That cupcake, the partying, the going out, because it's like, fuck, we got to make that episode. Bam. You're sacrificing a night out. You cannot get around it.
Yeah.
And I feel, I'm turning into God. I was like, and I feel like, but no, I know, I know that's the issue. That's honestly what's stopping a lot of people from making any progress and making them feel down about themselves is you're not willing to sacrifice anything. Sometimes what you have to sacrifice isn't something as tangible as a party or some money or some food. Sometimes what you have to sacrifice is a piece of yourself. Like, yo, I love sleeping in, right? Maybe I have to build a habit of waking up at 7 a.m. every day. I have to sacrifice the sleep. I have to sacrifice the part of me that loves sleeping to, you know, have extra time. Because for me, as an example, I work late. So if I want to have more time to do things, I either got to go to sleep later or I got to wake up earlier. Sacrifices.
Yeah. And the sacrifices don't necessarily have to be bad either. Like, it could be a good sacrifice. Like, maybe I should fucking stop doing drugs. That's a pretty good sacrifice. I don't know.
That's a place to start.
Yeah, that's a great place to start. Or maybe I shouldn't drink as much. Because within that sacrifice, you're directly like benefiting your body. You're actually doing more good. So some sacrifices could be good and some could be bad, but like not bad per se, but like maybe more like of a damn.
Yeah.
But like it's not a forever thing. It's a temporary thing. It's a way to build the habit so that now you know how you have the discipline to control yourself. You have self-control, self-awareness. Whereas like, okay, I've got to where I need to be. I've created such a good habit now that like somebody puts a cupcake in front of me, I can have the cupcake and I can control myself to only have the one for the next however long. And then by then, to be honest, once you've gone so long without wanting it, you'll probably eat it and be like, ugh, I regret eating this shit.
That's exactly what I was gonna say to bounce off with what you said, where I'll use me as an example. When I first cut out meat, right? What happened at first? It was like I never had like really crazy cravings for it, but you know, you still like the way steak and everything tastes or burgers. But after a certain point, you don't even have to think about not eating it. You're just trained to just not even consider it, and that goes across everything. For example, what happens when you get consistent with the gym? You don't consider not going anymore.
You just go.
You feel uncomfortable when you don't go.
Exactly.
Like your body's telling you like, yo, hold on, wait a minute.
Yeah.
We ate, we drank water. Where was the gym? Like, where was the exercise? Like it's crazy because once you get to that point, that's when you're like, all right, like my body's picked it up. My body's trained for it now.
Yeah.
And it goes with anything. Say like you said with the sugar, when you eat the cupcake after not eating like something so sugary for so long, you actually feel lethargic. Like you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Even think about like diets too, like keto diets, right? It's actually a pretty good diet, to be honest. Probably more realistic to how we really were as animals. But if you take carbs, for example, out your diet, the first week or two, you're going to feel like shit. Like, you're going to feel horrible because your body's not used to it. Your body's not used to converting fat as energy versus carbohydrate. But the minute your body makes that transition, I haven't heard one person say it sucked. Everybody's like, yo, this shit is amazing. Because, like, yeah, you just made a sacrifice of, okay, no more carbs. So you can't eat pasta, no bread, things like that. But now you feel fucking amazing, phenomenal. I'd rather feel good and maybe have to sacrifice certain foods than to eat those foods for my personal desire and then just be like, I got the itis, bro. I'm fucking full. Like some sacrifices are actually good, man. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, dude. I always think of that night that I caved and I ate that Taco Bell. And what happened? I was sending you texts in the middle of the night. I was like, yo, dude, I'm fucking dying right now. Like, had I not caved, I would have slept fine that night. Sacrifices are not a bad thing. Yeah. They're not. They're good.
You'd be surprised. You can make for example, partying, right? If you changed your habit of partying, you don't even have to sacrifice not partying anymore. You could say, okay, from now on, the next time I party, the only time I party in a club and I spend money on bottles and everything, is for a celebration. A celebration of a success, another year of life, maybe a milestone, things like that. Like things like that, like that you can like are like legit justifications. Yeah. Once you start doing that and you make the, I was losing my train of thought, but I'm gonna get it back. Anyways, once you make like that your reason, like going out celebration for those reasons, then when you go out eventually and it's not for that and it's just going out to go out, you're gonna be like, fuck am I doing? Yeah, I'm just wasting my time. But if you go every single time as like, oh no, I'm just celebrating, you enjoy all those moments, but you don't have that desire to go all the time. And then that is like the same example as the cupcake. Eventually you go back and it's not for a celebration and you're just kind of like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm wasting money for what? For a couple hours to go home and sleep? And be like, wow, yo, last night was crazy. Like, nah, at least the time I went last is like, yo, remember this time when this happened? Or remember on your 23rd birthday when we did this, and this? Like, damn, yo, that's fucking crazy. That's a great time. Versus like, yo, remember last Tuesday at the club when the girl dropped the bottle and it broke? I don't give a fuck. Like, it's stupid. But it's the same thing. Like, it's having that discipline to have the self-control and the self-awareness.
I think there's something to be said for having equity in what you do. And what I mean by having equity in what you do is you need to have put something in to get the reward. Like you said, for a milestone, right? Let's say, you know, your podcast becomes the #1 podcast on Mars, so you go out, right? Guess what? The reward is, like you said, better. It's enhanced because there was equity that went into it. There was
work.
12 episodes that you had to make, right? So there was so much more involved than just, no equity. You know what? It's Tuesday night. Let's go out, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have a good time, but it's not going to be like, wow. Like, there's an added level of joy to something that was earned. And you cannot change my fucking mind about that.
No, 100%. When you earn something, it hits way harder than when you're given something. When you had to do nothing for it, it's like not important.
Oh, I just remembered something. I have an example. Many examples. But in terms of equity versus no equity, look at people who are 300 pounds, right? And they work their asses off and lose all the weight, right? And now they're healthy people versus people who just get the surgery. Guess what? One person had to build themselves up to get the reward. The other person took a shortcut, but their habits are still those of somebody who's like 300 pounds. Even though I know somebody's going to comment, oh, well, they can't eat that much anymore because their stomach's small. Shut the fuck up, all right?
You can stretch the stomach back out over time.
And I will find a statistic to prove my fucking point, because you can't change my mind about this. People who get the surgery, right, I feel like tend to put on weight. Maybe they don't go back to their same weight as before, but you cannot convince me that they stay at that weight.
Yeah, because it's not, you didn't change. You changed how your body looked, but you didn't change your lifestyle. You didn't change your habits.
You took a shortcut.
Exactly. So it's only, you're bound to go back to square one at some point.
It's true. Like, say a pothead, right? Give them $1 million, like, given to them by a businessman, let's say, right? Guess what? They're still going to be a pothead. They're still going to keep smoking at all times, the entire day. They're just going to be a pothead with $1 million that they will inevitably blow through. I can't put that on the spot because I was trying to remember my other example. Lottery. You know, majority of the people who win the lottery go broke.
Yep, because they didn't have to work for it. And then they also don't have the financial literacy too.
It's true.
You think of the money's, when you don't have it, you think it's, I can never run out. But especially when you don't work for it too, it's like, I can never run out of this.
Mm-hmm.
I have a good example, but do I want to trigger people again?
Yes, I do.
But for example, in the dating market with women, if you are talking to a girl and you really like her, you're interested in her, you're showing her a lot of attention, right? And then, because this happened over the week, well, not to me, but like I overheard a conversation, I started dying laughing. You send her money, right? She's not even your girl, right? You just really like her. Oh, like, here's some money, go have some food or whatever. To you, it's like, damn, yeah, I'm that dude. Mm-hmm. You know what she's thinking? I went on like 2 dates with this guy and he's paid for my food every time, and now he just sent me money. I'm not taking him serious. Like, versus if she had to like work to be like your girl, and not work doesn't have to be a bad thing, because somebody's definitely gonna be like, oh
yeah, we're the prize.
Yeah,
shut the fuck up.
No, not even that. They're just gonna be like, oh what, like work. They're gonna take it the wrong way. Yeah. But no, like actually like show more than other than like your looks is enough to for you to be my girl. Like
outside of looks and pussy, what do you have?
But yeah, outside of the looks, like, oh, like this and that, right? If my looks alone got somebody to send me money, then like I'm not. Why would I take you serious? But if I had to earn your respect and like go through a like really like prove who I am as a good, like to be a certain person and everything. Now when you send me actually money or like you buy me flowers or you show me attention, it's valued more. It's like, oh my God, thank you. And like it weighs more. There's more value to it. But when you just give something away so much, there's no longer value to it.
It's one of the rules of all forms of money and value is
the form of everything.
Scarcity too.
Exactly.
So if I'm just out here sending money to every girl, right? And the girls know this, it's not gonna mean shit. They're just like, oh, okay,
you don't have to
whatever.
work for it. So it's okay, cool. But if they had to work for that money, then it's like, well, if they had to work for the attention, let's say, the attention being the currency.
Yeah.
If they had to work for your attention because they really liked you and wanted you, then when they get that attention, they're not gonna overlook it. Versus like any other guy who's just giving them everything they want off like everything. Yeah, they may like it, but they're not gonna take you super serious. Or at some point, it's gonna that level of seriousness is gonna start to fall down. The level of respect is not gonna be the same.
Them having to work for my attention is gonna do two things. One, it's gonna show like, oh shit, it's not easily accessible. Which the second part of that is it's gonna increase in value. Yeah. What everybody can't get to, everybody wants. That's why gold is so fucking important. Yep. That's why Lamborghinis and Ferraris are so admired.
That's why silver isn't as valuable anymore.
It's true. We want what is hard to get and what everybody can't have. Yep. That's the nature of everything, and that's what we all compete for. Now, what we just said, apply that, think of it in your own head of whatever the fuck you want to apply that to, and I promise you, you're going to see change.
Anything. That applies to anything. It could be, like you said, it could be, I don't remember what you said. It could be like dating. It could be all that stuff.
Like, I'll give this example. It could be with the girls that you're talking to or the guys, right? It could be with your friends. If you watch how you give attention to your friends...
That's a perfect example, actually.
You will have a higher quality set of friends because now they have to put in work for your attention. Mm-hmm. What's going to happen with that now? The people who you don't really want around you or don't really want to be around you, they're going to be like, dude, you want me to like do this to be around you? You start weeding out those people.
No, not even that. Like, it doesn't even have to be that deep. Like, the perfect example is do it if you're friends. That's probably the perfect example. Mm-hmm. I just like triggering people because it's funny. But the perfect example is your friends, right? If you hang out with your friends every week and you guys link up, yeah, we're gonna do this. And then the next week, be like, oh no, I can't this weekend, and then I can't, and then or like be like, oh no, I'm busy, I'm gonna go do this, instead of saying I can't, because then they'll use the excuse, oh, but you always say no. Mm-hmm. So just this is your friend group, and you're always here every single week. Just take a step back.
Yeah.
Just observe. The ones that are really like, not that no one else isn't your friend, but you start to really see the level of friendship.
Yeah.
Because out of this group of people, there's going to be maybe 1, 2, 3, depending how big your friend group is, that are going to actually reach out to you personally. Yo, what's up? Let's hang out.
Or yo, maybe
what's up?
None.
Yo, what's up? We're doing this weekend. Let's go like pull up. Or maybe none of them reach out. So it's like, okay, it's not that I don't like these people. It's not that they're not my friend. It's just I understand the level of friendship. Mm-hmm. These are people who, if I'm around them, sure, let's have a good time. What's up? I wish you the best.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna hit them up personally to hang out. It's more like we all just linked up. Versus the people who actually reached out to me, I'm gonna hold them closer to my heart in a sense. Like I'm gonna hold them more dear to me. And like actually reach out to them, check up on them, because I understand like they see me more as a friend versus the other people see me more as an acquaintance. It's like I'm just available all the time, whereas these people, they realize, no, I'm not all available all the time, and they respect it. But every now and then, you know, they're my boy. They want to chill. And not only that, when you come back around to that group of people that wasn't hitting you up, but you still cool with them. Like, there's no bad blood, nothing. Like I said, if you just link up, it's good times. Now when you come around, your time being around is valued more.
Yeah.
So now they're like, if you step away for a couple months and you come back, notice the difference in how yo, what's up, bro? Yo, they want to know everything about you. But when you were there all the time, they didn't give a fuck.
It's true.
It's like, oh yeah, what up? It is what it is. Oh, cool.
Two things. One, the people that check on you after you back up from the group, that's them putting in equity. That's them putting in work. And in return, getting that higher level of respect.
Mm-hmm.
Two, it's one of the rules of power, Robert Greene's laws of power, is use absence.
Yeah.
If you're at every gathering, you being there doesn't mean as much.
It devalues you. Exactly the point we're trying to make. Like
scarcity. Exactly.
When the more of something, the less is worth. The less of something, the more is worth. The more time you give to people readily without them deserving it, the less they're gonna value your time. The less they're gonna take you serious. The more you make people actually earn your respect and time, the more they're gonna value that time and cherish that time as well.
This kind of
applies to anything.
It's true. This kind of has what to do with what we're talking about. Kind of doesn't. But this is just gonna be a little tip for all the guys out there. Exactly what we just said, and this is kind of what I was kind of like trying to point out. But I'm gonna just say it. If you are if you're talking to girls, right? And anytime they say, "Oh, let's meet up," you're like, "Oh, yes, please!" Like you're constantly available. What happens? What there's a lot of doesn't mean as much.
Yeah.
Your value goes down. You have to be scarce.
Yeah, you don't have to be a dick.
No, yeah. Don't have to be a dick, but you can't always be available. Yeah. Any girl will say a guy who's always available is unattractive.
Yeah.
Like you need to add value to yourself. Make that equity exist. Like, oh, you want to see me? Cool, I want to see you too, but it's got to be around this. Now they make her put in work at whoever gets tight for your time.
Yeah. Makes
your time valuable. You're welcome.
But no, yeah. I mean, we kind of just went off a little bit on a tangent, but I think it kind of ties back into the dedication versus motivation. Because when you're motivated and you do it and you lose motivation, it's just like, But when you're dedicated, you're putting in the work. So now that value of that goal is so much more important.
I'm laughing real quick because you're like, it kind of ties in. I'm like, no, the fuck it doesn't. Oh, shit.
Nah, it does. Think about it. When you put in the work for the dedication and you're disciplined about it, there's more effort involved, so therefore you value that prize more. You're like, yo, I got this shit. Right. I'm the fucking man, like, or the woman. Like, I fucking did this. Versus I was like, oh, I was motivated, that's why I did it. It's like, all right, cool.
No.
This guy's literally tearing up.
I was trying so hard not to laugh, but I couldn't. I was like, because all I heard in the back of my head was like, this fucking cap. I was like, yo, we went off on a rant right there. But nah.
Nah, bro, I don't know what you're talking about.
But nah, to bring it back to this world, stay dedicated.
Yeah.
Understand, part of emotional intelligence is to know what you're feeling. Understand that motivation is an emotion. Mm-hmm. You're going to feel motivated at certain times, and at other times you're not. Just like sometimes you're going to be really happy, sometimes you're going to be sad, sometimes you're going to want to conquer the world, sometimes you're going to want to sleep in.
Which is all normal.
It's part of being
a
human. But understand that behind your motivation, or actually in front of your motivation, more important than your motivation, is your discipline to stick to it.
Yeah.
That, I think it was Jocko Willink says it, where he's like, how do you word it?
I like Jocko Willink.
He's dope as fuck. Success is the person who does what they want to do the least, the most. Something along those lines.
Wow.
Because it's true.
It's dope, yeah. It is true. The thing that you hate, that you really don't want to do, but is what requires for your successes. The person who does that the most is going to succeed.
Eventually, somebody's going to cave and just be like, like, I'll sleep in today.
Yeah. And I could see where his mindset on that comes from. The guy was a fucking Navy SEAL. You think he wanted to go through fucking Hell Week and Buds? Hell no. But he did what most people didn't want to do. And he did it consistently. And he fucking became a Navy SEAL and made it out alive.
It's true.
Like, they all put in the work that the people that we don't want to do. That's why we're not Navy SEALs or in the military. And they became successful at it. And then they just applied that to everything else in life. And now they're successful on other platforms in life. On fucking YouTube.
The podcasting space. Everything in general.
I was going to say the supplement space. That's why I blanked out on.
And even then, outside of that, like, Jocko, for example, has his own businesses. Like, I think, what is it?
Books, too.
Books? What is
Clothing line. Yeah, I forget the name, but he has, like, these jeans, right?
I was thinking of Geese, I think they're called.
Is that for like jiu-jitsu?
Yeah. So it's like staying dedicated to what his goal is, turned into not just becoming a Navy SEAL, but becoming the author, the podcaster, the YouTuber, the business owner.
Yeah, exactly. Like, just that alone, right? For that personal goal that he had of becoming a Navy SEAL, he discovered that. And then he realized this is the key to success. This is what opens the door. It's not no secret code. It's not none of that. It's simple. The answer is simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. Like I've always said, like I've said before, like you want something, it's usually simple to get, but it's not easy to get. And there's a big difference. Like, it's simple. Here's the formula. You need to do this, 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 and this, and you get this. But it's not going to be easy when you go through each step, kind of thing. Like, the same thing with the gym. You want to get strong? Simple. Work out, eat healthy, drink water. Is it easy? No. That's the reason why, like, the gym industry has remained at like 17% like of people actually go to the gym or at least have a membership in a gym. I could be off, but the last time I was told the numbers by an owner of a gym, that's what he said, 17%. And that was like over the span from like 2005 to 2019, some crazy shit like that. But it's insane. Like, I don't know. I hope he lost my train of thought. I forgot my notebook.
Sorry, V.
Yeah.
But no. In general, just thinking about what you're trying to get. And asking yourself, are you the person who deserves that? And that'll set you down a path of, like Jordan Peterson says, making a list of things that you can improve on. Now, to get to certain goals, you have to shed like who you are to get there. And what I was going to get at is Jordan Peterson has this exercise where it's like every night before you go to bed, make a list of things or at least pick one thing that you could have done better today to do better tomorrow, right? This is a very long-term play, very long-term. But guess what? Let's say my goal tonight when I go to sleep is, I want to talk to more people. Cool. So then tomorrow comes around, I interact with more people at work or at the supermarket or wherever. Guess what? Let's say my goal for tomorrow night is I want to eat a little cleaner, right, for the day. Well, guess what? On that third day, I spoke to more people and I ate a little cleaner. Guess what? My next goal after that is I want to work out a little bit. Now, all in one day, I worked out a little bit, I ate clean, and I spoke to more people. Mm-hmm. Keep stacking this. Be a totally new person.
Yeah. It goes into habit making. I think the Atomic Habits kind of touches on something similar. I don't remember the exact words. But, for example, one of our cousins mentioned that to us. Like, there's something you want to do and you're lacking the drive to do it. Instead of saying like, oh, I don't have the drive to do it. All right, fuck it, I'm just not going to do it. Because obviously then that means I don't want it. It's like, no, do it for 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then the next day do it again for only 2 minutes. Let's say you want to read more. Okay, read for 2 minutes Put the bookmark in, close the book, put it away. That's it. The rest of the day, you do whatever you want to do. Tomorrow, read 2 more minutes. The day after, 2 more minutes. For that whole week, read 2 minutes. Next week comes, all right, read 3 minutes. And then by the third week, all right, 4 minutes. And then the fourth week, all right, fine, 5 minutes. And before you know it, probably by the time it's the fourth week, you're reading a chapter a day. The next, 3 chapters a day. Before you know, you're reading, within 2 months, you're reading a book a day. Because you've created such a daily habit that now you don't have to question or have motivation to do it. You just do it. Yep. It becomes who you are. It becomes a part of your personality. It becomes who you are. Again, that's what the Atomic Habits touches on. The reason why it's called Atomic Habits is because it's atoms. So it's not a big habit. It means little habits. It's tiny atoms that make up you, create the habit. So that's basically the whole premise of the book. Exactly. All right, these little atoms all create this one end goal. So each little habit is super important to who I become. So I need to, get on top of each little habit that I have.
That's a fire way of looking at things. A fire fucking mentality.
It's a really dope book. And if you don't have the time to read, then listen. That's what I do. I listen to my books. I listen to it at work. While I ring people up, I'm just listening to books and podcasts. I hear one of the 500 words that I hear an hour. I usually just say the same thing, so I just assume what they say. Hi, how are you? Good, and you? Have a good one. I didn't hear a single word they said. They could have just looked at me the whole time, but I just set it up because I'm just focused on listening. But that's just how I get it done. Why read when I can listen?
Bang. Yeah. No, I need to check that book out.
It's on Audible.
Audible, sponsor us. What's it called?
Give me an affiliate link, bro. The fuck.
Nah, dude. I remember when I first got Audible, I was like, man, this seems like a scam. X amount of books later, I'm like, oh man, I love Audible.
Bro, Audible that was the same thing like me. It wasn't so much I thought it was a scam. My thing was I bought Audible, right? Well, I got the subscription. And then I realized some books you actually have to buy.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was like. Yo,
what the fuck? I thought I was going to read these books for free or listen to them. And then I started listening to them. I was like, fuck, they got me.
Yeah. Facts.
But yeah, now I'm an avid Audible listener.
So. No, I was going to say, I need to check out that book. Like I said, I've read The Power of Habit. Power of Habit's more case study-like. Very specific scenarios and problem and application. While Atomic Habits, I've been told, is more...
application to life.
Yeah, more broad, more do this in your own life as opposed to this is the example of that kind of thing.
And he has I don't remember right now in this very moment, but I think it's 4 pillars to creating the habits for, I guess, success, if you want to say. I don't remember them off the top of my head, though. I'd have to go back and look. But they're really dope. So I wish I remembered them because they probably sound fire right now. But again, to go back to the main topic, I think even though we're talking about dedication versus motivation, I think the biggest trait that you need to develop if you don't already have is discipline. Mm-hmm. To me, that's the key. If you don't have discipline, then you don't have dedication, and the only thing you'll have is motivation.
And like I said earlier, motivation's a setup for failure.
Yeah, motivation should turn into dedication, which should then turn into discipline.
Motivation should just be a catalyst.
Yeah.
Motivation be like, yo, I'd say I don't work out or anything. I feel like doing it today. Cool. Now take the dedication.
Yeah.
Add that to the motivation. Stick to it. Build it into a habit.
Yeah. Motivation gets it closer to the ledge. Dedication pushes it right onto the tip of the ledge, and discipline pulls it down.
Mm-hmm. Balls.
Holla at me. But
that was a dope way of putting that.
No, but yeah, and I think a good example is that Kobe example you had too.
Oh yeah. So, if you guys have never seen it, Kobe, and this is how he calculated his way to the NBA. So, somebody who, let's say, wants to go to the NBA, right? Somebody who's really motivated is going to train every single day, right?
Yeah.
Put up, let's say, shots for an hour a day. Bam, 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 right? That person's going to be better than most people. But now take somebody who's dedicated. Their personality is getting to the NBA. Like Kobe's was. What did Kobe say? He was doing it crazy. He was training every day, morning, afternoon, and at night. So he was training 3 times a day as opposed to the 1 a day. But for the sake of my math skills, we're going to just say you train twice. You train before class and you train in the evening, right? Guess what? And let's say you guys never take a day off. You and the other person who trains once a day train all 365 days of the year. Guess what? That first person got 365 sessions in of training. While you, who went twice a day, because, you know, it was just part of your personality, your discipline, you weren't going to miss, you got 730 sessions in. You improved twice as much as the other person. Now, of course, in 1 year, yeah, you're going to see difference. But think about that over the course of like 3 years, 5 years. Oh, the skill gap is insane. There's no competition there.
That's what separates a good player and a great player. That separates a great player and an elite player and an elite player from like the best of all time.
It's true.
It's work ethic. That's all it is.
Work ethic is something that's free. It's fucking free. Discipline is free.
Yep.
Work ethic is free. If you look at the greats in any realm, yeah, we could say, oh, I always use him, but Elon Musk is only successful because he has all this money. No, he had the work ethic,
that got him that money.
Yeah, which got him, let's say, investor money, which got him the businesses. Work ethic is something that you should never, if you're chasing anything, whether it's athletic or business-wise, if people aren't saying, damn, he's such a good worker, or like he chases his goals, or ambitious is a better word, right? Because if you're ambitious, you are chasing your goals. You can't be ambitious and sleeping in every day.
Yeah.
Then you're just dreaming. But like ambition like that, where you're working towards your goals, that should not be up for debate at all. That's the key to all of it.
Yeah, no, 100%. I 100% agree with that. I think that's a great example, like the Kobe example, the difference, how the compounding interest, I guess, per se, of how year 1, it doesn't really make a difference. Year 2 is like, year 3, but then you get to year 10, it's like, oh shit, look how much I have, or look how good I've become.
Mm-hmm.
And then you give it even 20 years, you're like, oh, hell yeah. Versus the other person is like, just give me the shit. They pulled out too early, they gave up too early. It's the same thing. With, like, I think it applies to anything in life. But pretty much what I was going to say, just to wrap it up, was like, if you're not happy with where you are in life, it's 100% your fault.
Yep.
Plain and simple. It's your fault. Like, you're probably having spikes of motivation, but you don't have the dedication, and more than anything, you don't have the discipline. And I think without discipline, all fails. So you need all 3, and you're gonna have motivation for sure. Everybody has ups and downs with motivations. It's bound to happen, but it's the dedication and discipline that's gonna get you where you want to be. So if you're not where you want to be, then you need to start becoming dedicated and disciplined on what it is that you want and start acting accordingly. Otherwise, you're going to be in the same spot complaining and just saying, oh, well, you know what, I didn't grow with money, that's why I'm here. You're going to look for ways to justify your failures and make excuses for it. And just to go off real quick, like, even today on Twitter, like, I just happened to be scrolling and I saw somebody tweeted like, oh, I hate when people say Kylie Jenner's a self-made billionaire because she came from money. And like, to me, that's like, all right, you're just playing the victim mindset.
Yeah.
Oh, she came from money. That's why she's a billionaire. Yeah, she came from money. Did it help her? Of course. She had a head start. But I'm pretty sure she still put in the work to get it. She didn't just like, oh, I came from money. Here, $1 million. Boom, billionaire. No, I'm pretty sure she had to grind and get to that. Did she have help, better resources and things like that because of who she is and where she came from? Sure, of course. But there's no difference between her being a billionaire and is Steve Harvey a billionaire?
No. He might be, actually.
Okay.
He's up there, though.
Yeah, or like a Robert Kiyosaki kind of a billionaire. Yeah, she had a head start. but there's something in common that they both had, and that was work ethic, discipline, and dedication. Like Kylie could have just easily been like, oh, I came from money, just kept whatever money she had and just stayed at that. But she put in the work to become a billionaire. She had ambition, and she pushed for that. So like, I don't know. I'm not saying she didn't like have it good,
Mm-hmm.
but when you start saying like, oh, she just got it because she came from money, you're basically justifying your failure and like subconsciously. Like you're subconsciously saying like, oh, I'm not where she was just because I didn't come from money. It's like, no, you're not where she is because you didn't put in the work. Does she have a head start? Sure, but you didn't put in the work. You didn't grind. You didn't create discipline. You didn't have dedication. You didn't want it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not where you want to be, it's 100% your fault. Maybe if you're a kid, okay, that's different. But once you're an adult and you support yourself and you feed yourself and you're old enough to take care of yourself,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not where you want to be, it's 100% your fault. You need to do something different. That's the only way it's going to change. Stop looking for excuses as to why you don't have it and start finding reasons why you're going to have it.
Look, you don't pick the situation you were born into, but you definitely pick the situation you're in when you die.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And look, you could hate on Kylie Jenner, right? Yeah, she's not a self-made billionaire. Cool. But guess what? She's still out there running a business. She's still out there doing all.
She's hustling.
And people like to talk shit about other people's hard work because they themselves do not have what it takes to put in that hard work.
It gives them satisfaction. It gives them a way to justify their failure subconsciously. So it makes them feel good about being a failure. That's why people talk shit. When people talk shit is because they're making themselves feel better about not having what you had, because they know themselves as, and whether subconscious or in some point, they know that they're too lazy to do the work to get it. They just talk shit to justify it.
You just remind me of something I read in Russ's book, right? It's All in Your Head, where he says the term humble was created by poor people. Because let's say I make $1 billion, right? I'm going to want to drive a Lamborghini or a Ferrari or something like that, right? And what does society say? Oh, gross, man. This guy, if you live too lavish, it's a problem. If you're poor, it's a problem. Everything's a problem in society. Mm-hmm. So he says the term humble, right, was a term made by poor people to keep the rich and the successful from living the life of the rich and the successful. Look at how society talks about all these people who don't buy the lavish mansions. That's a good person. That's somebody who, that's admirable. Why? Because they earned $1 billion or whatever it is and they didn't want to spend it because they wanted to fit your opinion? Nah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Like, society wants to pull everybody to the lowest level. It's not we want to pull people up. That's the way it's narrated. That's the narrative behind everything. But in reality, society wants to pull everybody down to the lowest level. They don't want you to succeed like that. So we're going to praise the people who don't live like that. The people who don't enjoy the fruits of their labor. That insert the term humble.
Yeah. It, like I said, is just a justification for your own personal failures. That's pretty much what hate is. Like, I hate this dude. Especially like people online. Like, I understand, you know what, I don't really like his personality based off what I've seen. I'm not gonna like fuck with his content or something. Mm-hmm. Sure. People be like, oh, I hate this person, they deserve to be killed. Bro, you never even met the person.
Yeah.
Why you hate them so much? Because they have a voice on a platform that you don't. Put in the fucking work. Maybe you get the same thing.
Sure.
Like, yeah, it's no guarantee, but at least try and like actually try. Like, that, I think that's where hate, jealousy, all that comes from people justifying their failures. They're taking the fact that they couldn't build up the courage, the dedication, and the discipline to do what somebody else did. So now they shit on them to feel better about themselves. Otherwise, why do you hate on somebody? Like, why do I have to agree with you that this person should be canceled when I've never met the fucking person?
It's true.
I don't know nothing about them. All I know is what they decided to put on the internet, which can be anything they fucking want. Like, that shit doesn't make sense to me. Like, cancel somebody, who cares? You don't like them? You don't like what they just said? cool, just stop watching it. Guess
stop
what?
Watching them, unfollow them.
If you stop watching them and enough people stop watching them, then they're inherently canceled. Like, they're not going to be making money. They can't have a living off of it no more because they don't have the viewership. But like when you just go on and complain about it, it's like, all right, you're just justifying. Like,
you're honestly just giving more attention to whatever it is.
It's like I heard this recently. It was like somebody who's overweight, right? You can get somebody overweight to say this. Okay, you know what? I agree. It is my fault that I'm overweight, but we can't overlook the fact that it's the food that we're being fed. All right, well, you're not accepting the fact that you're overweight. You're just justifying the fact that you're overweight. You're finding another way to justify your failure, to make yourself feel better about it. It's like, oh no, I know being overweight is my fault, but it's also like the food we're fed's fault. Who the fuck is putting the food in your mouth? What are you, a baby? Like, grow up. You choose what you put in your mouth. It's still your fault.
Dude, it's so true. Like, this is gonna be a hot one, but let's say there's some fucking heroin in front of you, right? There's drugs all over the country, right? Now, if you start doing the drugs and you become an addict, is it the fucking country's fault because there were drugs in the country, or was it your fault because you chose to dabble in it? Exactly. You chose. Nobody forced it.
Exactly.
Nobody put that spoon in your mouth.
You know how many
or in your veins, but
you know how many times somebody's offered me cocaine and I'm like, fuck no. Like, get the fuck out of there. Because I know what happens if you do it, and also I'm just not interested in it. And guess how many people are addicted to cocaine because that situation happens and they decide to do it. Well, you're a fucking idiot. You know what was gonna happen. That's your fault. There's no like, oh, it's because it's the U.S.'s fault because they brought cocaine in the 80s. No, motherfucker, it's your fault for being an idiot and fucking sniffing it.
True.
like take accountability. That's what this world doesn't have. Accountability.
Yo, people run... we literally said this before.
Yeah, we were talking about this right before, too. The word accountability doesn't exist in the majority of the populace's dictionary.
Yo, dude, people run away from accountability like the fucking plague.
Accountability is probably... You thought people were scared of COVID? You never seen accountability, bro.
Yo, dude.
Next disease that comes out, or virus, they should name that shit accountability. See how many people actually take that shit.
Yo.
Or get it.
Yo, son. It's just, that's the society we live in. And it's really disgusting to think about.
Yeah, it's the truth, though.
The one thing you have control over in this life is your action and words. And knowing that you have control over that, you will never own up to your actions and words.
Yeah. Take accountability. If you say something, if you're going to do something, if something's your fault, take accountability. Like my man Scarface said. Only two things I got in this world. Well, it applies to men. But I got my balls and my fucking word, and I don't break them for no one.
Let's go.
That's somebody who takes accountability. That's what that is. But yeah, anyways, to wrap everything up, dedication versus motivation. Motivation is good. Like you said, it's a catalyst to create the action. Dedication and discipline is what's going to keep it going, though. And without that, you've got nothing. So if you're really serious about something, make it your personality. Think about what that person is doing that has the success and everything that they've accomplished. Think about what their day-to-day is like and start embodying that today. And as time goes on, eventually you will get there because you're creating the habits, having the discipline and the dedication and consistency to get there. Which, I was wrapping it up, but it just reminded me of what I was going to say earlier about something else, but fuck it, I'll say it. What I was going to say earlier, too, about like turning the key to success and everything is how things are simple, but they're not easy. I fucking lost it.
Yeah, I'm going to buy a notebook and I'm going to just glue it right there.
Bro, you have to at this point. I fucking forgot it. Oh, no, I do remember it, actually. Is when people say, like, oh, like, I'm going to be the first person in my family to crack the code to success. The crack the code part, I fucking hate it. I hate that shit. Because when you think about it, like, oh, I'm going to crack the code, well, then if you don't get what you just said you're going to get, you use, like, I couldn't crack the code as an excuse to justify your failures. Like, no, there is no fucking code. The code exists. All you have to do is just type it in and it'll work. You just don't want to type it in. if 500 people have become millionaires off of crypto, well, then there's no code to cracking crypto. There's obviously a formula that's being followed.
Mm-hmm.
So just follow the formula and you become the 501st person that's a millionaire. Like, there's no code to crack. So stop saying, oh, I cracked the code. No, you didn't crack the code. You just took action. That's all you did. You followed the formula. The formulas exist. There is no code. If somebody knows if 100 people know a code to a bank safe and none of them work at that bank, there's no point in having a safe in the bank because everybody knows the code.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is, okay, I just need to do this, this, and this, and that's it. The money's right there. Like, it's simple. I don't know.
Look.
It's simple to me, at least.
No, dude,
It's not easy, but it's simple.
You've heard of Think and Grow Rich, right?
Yeah.
It's like the Bible of finance, right? Dead ass. And I've read that book. The book isn't, invest in this, do that, right? No, the book is chapters, and each chapter is a change you're supposed to make in yourself. Getting rich isn't so much about place your money here, do that. Well, that's an aspect of it. Of course, you have to be like literate financially. Majority, 95% of that book is your habits. What are the habits of the rich? What are these people doing? Like, everything like that. Cracking the code is you're cracking the code inside yourself. It's not so much going out into the world and doing cartwheels for money or anything like that. No, it's making sure you're being the diligent one. Making sure you're having your inner confidence set up. Making sure that your personality is, because that's actually in the book, is the person you're trying to become. Not just the person you wish you were.
Yeah.
But I had to pull up a quote because what you said before, I could not do it. But it says, watch your thoughts. They become your words. Watch your words. They become your actions. Watch your actions. They become your habits. Watch your habits. They become your character. Watch your character. It becomes your destiny. They're all little pieces.
They're all connected. Everything's connected.
Everything is connected.
Yeah. That goes to, like, I think that fits in well with, like, the premise of the Atomic Habits. It's like that one little atom created another atom and, came together with one atom, then another and another. And next thing you know, you have a human. You have Earth. You have this table. You have that camera. You have the screen you're watching the sun. All made up of little atoms that had to formulate together to create it. So everything is connected. Everything works in line with each other. So when one fails, everything fails. So you have to put everything has to work. You have to put in the work for each thing as well. But anyways.
Like, take a disciplined person, take a different person who's charismatic, and take a different person who's, let's say, attractive, right? For lack of a better example. Those are 3 different characteristics in 3 different people. And those are some decent people. But now take all those characteristics, one at a time, building it up, right? And you build that disciplined, charismatic, attractive person. That's a hell of a person.
Yeah.
And it's all just pieces. And everybody has some pieces within them. Some people are better at reading than others, let's say.
Yeah.
But you might not be as good as communicating. But through discipline and everything like that, you can mold yourself to be this super intelligent, well-articulated person. Because the people who articulate themselves the best are the readers.
Yeah. And you could become a good reader if you just read.
It's true.
You could become a good mathematician if you just practice math all the time. You could become a good basketball player if you practice basketball all the time. You could become a good anything if you just do it all the time.
Yeah.
So it comes down to that. Anyways, wrap everything up. Again, the important motivation is good as a catalyst, but after that, you need discipline and dedication to get to where you want to be. Think about the person that you want to be and think about their day-to-day life and their everyday actions and start embodying that today, right now, in your everyday life. And I promise you, if you do that and you stay 100% true to that, you more than likely will get to where you want to be. And listen, I'm obviously not where I want to be, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm trying. So we're on our 12th episode. We're 3 months in.
That's crazy.
We have like almost 60 subscribers.
Huh?
We haven't even broke 100 yet. Like, most people would want to quit.
Yep.
To be honest, I see almost 60 subscribers, and I'm like, yo, that's fucking crazy.
Yo, bro.
I have like the complete opposite mindset.
Yo,
then again, I don't really care about the numbers because I'm just doing it because I like it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why like coming here, it's like it's a discipline thing.
Yeah.
That's why we record at like 1 a.m. It's the only time we have to record.
Yep.
But we still do it even when we're fucking tired. Like you may have seen last episode.
Literally fell asleep 30 episodes. But not. It's kind of part of it goes into gratitude too. I remember when we broke 50 and we were talking about it, I was like, yo, 50 people subscribe, bro. That shit's crazy. Like, it's not 1 million, it's not 500,000, but if you break it down, it's like, yo, that's still 50 people that cared enough about what the fuck we have to say to press the button.
Exactly.
And like, to me, that's dope.
Yeah, it is dope to me too. It's pretty crazy. It's mind-blowing to me. Like, obviously, I do this because I like it, but I also would like for it to be monetized.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to lie. That's a partial factor to it. But, I don't know. We had the motivation, and we acted upon it, and now we've created the discipline and dedication to it. And
3 months later.
Now we're in 3 months. We're a quarter of the way to a year.
And I can't wait to revisit this conversation when we're a year in.
Yep.
Like,
a year later to look back at this, see where we are too, our conversations, our set, our production, everything. Maybe we have an intro by then and an outro. Who knows, man?
Maybe some real fucking mics.
She'll be different. She's gonna be. Who knows, man? Who knows? Stay tuned. Like, subscribe, and watch, and you'll find out.
#1 podcast on Mars, baby.
Milky Way Galaxy, baby. Any other podcasts? Not as good.
Tell them to add us.
Facts. Anyways, with that being said, Lost Boyz Podcast, episode 12. Peace out.